Hello guys, welcome to the Elrasta channel to discuss and explain the exciting storyline of your favorite series, SwallowedStar episode 225. In the previous episode, following a fierce battle where Master Yuanao chose to blow himself up, he scattered map fragments and treasures across space. In the subsequent scramble for the loot, Luofeng successfully suppressed Master Skywolf and the Flame Emperor using his ultra-powerful domain combination technique to secure the treasure known as the Flame Sand Cup. Impressed by his disciples' extraordinary achievements, the Chaos City Lord felt that Luofeng was ready for a much bigger challenge and asked him to explore the deadly region known as the Universe Ocean. After his master revealed the dark secret about the Reincarnation era threat that could wipe out humanity, Luofeng made up his mind and set off alongside his master's true body, diving through the Toya black hole to begin his most dangerous journey in the Universe Ocean. So what happens next? Alright, let's jump straight into the story. After exiting the original universe, Luofeng and his master gazed at the shape of the original universe, which now looked like a space-time anomaly or the very concept of infinity. Luofeng couldn't help but wonder about the sheer courage of Ancestor Yuan, who recklessly defied the laws of the universe back in the day. The primal Chaos City leader then told him that the higher your position, the further your vision reaches. He explained that even the true gods from the ancient era before the Great Annihilation never dared to pull off such a crazy stunt, making Ancestor Yuan the only one who actually had the guts to do it. If Luofeng ever reached the same level as Ancestor Yuan one day, he might finally be able to understand it. After taking in the sight, the two of them immediately teleported across space to continue their journey. Along the way, the primal Chaos City leader explained the difference between the original universe and the Universe Ocean. The main difference is that the Universe Ocean is infinitely vast and has coordinates that can't be confirmed. Even warriors can't teleport using their god country, nor can they fly in through the dark universe like they do in the original universe. Because of this, his master advised Luofeng that bringing a map and logging reference objects is crucial so he doesn't get lost. For example, the map his master showed him highlighted natural wormholes containing 39 distinct routes, and these mapped paths automatically allow them to teleport safely to their destination. That's why many fighters use these natural wormholes for exploration. Uncharted routes, however, are a totally different story. His master strongly advised Luofeng against taking them due to hidden dangers, risks that even his master wouldn't dare take. After that, the two of them moved along the markers of natural wormhole route number 15 on the map. Long story short, they eventually arrived in front of a miniature universe serving as a location marker. This miniature universe had a massive diameter of 100 million light-years, but it was in a miserable state, with its membrane walls shattered and cracked in hundreds of places. The primal Chaos City leader explained that this ruined object was a long-dead miniature universe, a direct result of its owner, a true god-level being passing away. His master also explained that the original universe had given birth to billions of races and countless powerful beings in the past, but they were also wiped out generation after generation in a cycle known as the Reincarnation era. Even among the strongest beings in the universe, only a handful managed to escape the doom brought by the great destructions the original universe went through. Now, the surviving beings from the first and second Reincarnation eras ultimately live out in the Universe Ocean. The Chaos City Lord elaborated that the current cycle is the third Reincarnation era, which is also the era that birthed humanity, including Ancestor Yuan and Luofeng. Since two Reincarnation eras previously took place in the original universe, the beings and powerful races that survived those two cycles are vastly superior to those born in the third Reincarnation era. On top of that, there are also powerful beings who have lived through countless reincarnation cycles, almost all of whom have successfully grasped ultimate secret techniques. Well, if you're curious about them, these powerhouses in the Donghua version are likely Void True God-level fighters named East Emperor Ancestor and Purple Moon Ancestor. In short, they are two warriors who possess an internal world, an advanced transformation of a miniature universe known as a Holy Land. It's a universe owned by a void true god that can actually withstand the annihilation brought upon by the Reincarnation eras. Alright, moving on. After hearing the Chaos City Lord's explanation, Luofeng was absolutely stunned. He realized that the human race faction is considered quite weak out here in the Universe Ocean, and the threats here are no joke compared to the rivalries back in the original universe. Initially, the Chaos City Lord planned to wait until Luofeng became a Universe Master level fighter before bringing him here. However, even if Luofeng can't beat these ancient beings yet, he can at least escape thanks to the backing of his treasures. Since becoming a Universe Master requires countless combat experiences, the Universe Ocean is the perfect place to forge Luofeng and make him stronger. After teleporting from the True God's miniature universe, at the border region, his master showed him Qing Feng, also known as the Tilted Peak Realm, one of the 3 deadliest places in the Universe Ocean. Based on the Universe Ocean map's description, the Tilted Peak Realm features a giant mountain standing 98.02 million light-years tall, which is equivalent in size to the largest galaxy in the original universe. Even at its peak, there's a severed section with a whopping diameter of 12 million light-years. The mountain is divided into 3 distinct zones. The outer region, which is known to have relatively low danger. Next is the inner region of the Tilted Peak Realm inside the mountain, where the danger level is so extreme that even the strongest Universe Masters could perish there. Finally, there's the core of the mountain body, known to hold unpredictable dangers where even true God fighters can easily meet their doom. Yet, despite the vastness of the mountain, within 100 million light-years from it, you can spot seemingly tiny fragments floating around. However, each of these fragments is estimated to have a diameter of a single light-year, which is roughly 9.46 trillion kilometers. Following that, the two continuously teleported closer to the mountain area. The closer they got to the mountain's outer region, the larger the mountain rock fragments became, one of them even measuring 8.2 light-years across. By coincidence, the huge axe creator was also currently within the Tilted Peak Realm's borders, so most of the Universe Masters from the Hongmeng Alliance were hanging out on the rock fragments at the mountain's edge. On one of these floating rocks stood a palace where the Universe Masters gathered before heading out for exploration. Through teleportation, Luofeng and his master finally arrived at the palace. They were greeted by Peng Gong Master and Yuho Master, who officially welcomed Luofeng by calling him by his grand title, Milky Way Horde Leader. Inside the palace, 4 Universe Masters gathered around a round table to welcome Luofeng's debut in the Universe Ocean. Aside from Peng Gong Master and Yuho, there was also a new character present named Firestone Master. Keeping with tradition, the Primal Chaos City leader led a toast, offering a cup of wine to wish his disciples safety and wealth on his journey. The relaxed vibe shifted a bit when Firestone Master suddenly decided he wanted to drop some words on the new kid on the block. Luofeng had already heard that Firestone Master had a stubborn personality and a brutally honest mouth, and sure enough, with a harsh tone, he told Luofeng that the Universe Ocean is pure chaos, and anyone who isn't on the same side will always end up fighting. Looking at Luofeng's current strength, which is roughly on par with an ordinary Universe Master, exploring the outer regions of the Tilted Peak Realm with the group could still be considered safe. But if Luofeng were to venture out solo to hunt for treasure, his power was deemed far from enough. The guy was so wildly blunt that Peng Gong Master, who was mid-drink, literally choked on his wine. Firestone Master knew that Luofeng had cloning abilities, but still, if he got killed by an enemy, all his precious treasures would be lost. And according to Firestone Master, the gear currently equipped on Luofeng's body was no joke in terms of value. Hearing this rock creature's rant totally lived up to his stubborn reputation. This time, Luofeng spoke up, telling Firestone Master to relax because he had already made preparations. But Firestone Master immediately cut him off, bluntly stating that Luofeng's preparations were completely useless. Although his words were harsh, Firestone Master's concerns actually held some truth. Peng Gong Master explained that they could easily run into powerful enemies in the Tilted Peak Realm. After all, they might just cross paths with Universe Masters from the first Reincarnation era, who are notoriously tough to deal with. If that happened, those beings would likely go all out, fighting tooth and nail without a single care about dying. Aside from the 2 Holy Land figures at the Void True God level, top-tier Universe Masters can only live for a maximum of 3 Reincarnation eras, and once their time is up, they are all guaranteed to perish. At this point, Luofeng found himself wondering, why could these ancient beings only live for a maximum of 3 Reincarnation eras, and why exactly were the 2 Holy Lands the exception to this rule? Firestone Master then chimed in, saying that the Universe Masters there had their own business exploring various spots, so they definitely couldn't babysit each other all the time. Getting yelled at, Luofeng, the rookie of the group, really had to grasp the sheer danger of roaming the Tilted Peak Realm. Regarding those concerns, the Chaos City Lord dropped some extra info that Luofeng wasn't aware of yet. If Universe Masters ran into deep trouble during their explorations, they could send out an SOS signal through the virtual universe network. Because of this system, Any Alliance members nearby are obligated to rush over immediately to provide backup. We now shift our focus to the northern Beihua Snow Mist domain, right where Zuo Shanke's palace is located. The master spoke deeply to Puti, his first disciple, mentioning that his junior martial brother had now entered the Universe Ocean. Even though Zuo Shanke felt Luofeng's strength was still far from enough to survive the Universe Ocean, he saw Puti as the hardest worker. Thus, the master decided to give Puti the exact same opportunity he gave his second and third disciples, to head out, explore, and forge himself in the Universe Ocean. Before setting off, Zuo Shanke wanted to give a fitting treasure to his first disciple, handing over a domain-type treasure known as the Divine Wood for Puti to use in battle. Upon receiving the gear, Puti promised to try his absolute best and not let his master down. After that, Zuo Shanke finally gazed off into the distance toward the Tilted Peak realm, muttering to himself that he had been waiting for this moment for far too long. Well, what exactly is this long-awaited moment Zuo Shanke is waiting for? Well, if you guys know, feel free to drop a comment below. Not long after, using a token, Zuo Shanke called Luofeng, asking for his current coordinates. Luofeng himself was currently hanging out in the Tilted Peak realm alongside the Chaos City Lord. Upon hearing this, his master left him with a message. If Luofeng ever ran into danger, he could immediately call on his master for help. It was just that his master hoped Luofeng would never actually need to ask for it. This meant that even though his master constantly tested Luofeng, the Universe Ocean was a whole different beast, and he was clearly worried about his third disciple. After that, the scene shifts to a water region at the border of the Tilted Peak realm, where aquatic creatures can be seen living. Not far from there, Firestone Master was swimming alone through the depths of these waters, his heart full of jealousy and cynicism. He knew Luofeng was brought out here to grow and eventually become an asset to the human race in the future. But if Luofeng ended up causing a ton of trouble and needed saving, he was definitely going to chew the kid out for being a massive liability. Because he was actively wishing bad luck upon Luofeng, karma instantly bit back. Suddenly, a spatial lockdown activated around Firestone Master, signaling the arrival of an enemy directing straight-up killing intent at him. Surprisingly, the one orchestrating the spatial lockdown was identified as someone from the Divine Eye race, a being from the first Reincarnation era. Realizing his enemy possessed overwhelming power and belonged to a top-tier faction, Firestone Master immediately tried to make a run for it. But the enemy wasn't going to let him slide that easily, and instantly unleashed the Ice Sand Ocean domain technique. A freezing chill immediately enveloped the surrounding area as everything began to ice over, and the Ice Sand Ocean, packing serious domain power, rapidly surged toward the fleeing Firestone Master. After realizing the enemy's technique looked incredibly familiar, Firestone Master figured out that his attacker was a Yang Master, a Tier 4 Universe Master. Not long after, as his body began freezing under the crushing pressure of the enemy's ice sand, Firestone Master flat out admitted that he didn't even have any spectacular true treasures. He was genuinely baffled. Why in the world was an Yang Master hunting him down so aggressively? For an Yang, who was born during the first Reincarnation era and had a strict expiration date on his lifespan, this was purely business. His reason for doing this was to carve a path to immortality through endless slaughter. So clearly, he wasn't attacking Firestone Master for the loot. He just wanted to vent his madness by racking up a massive body count before he died. With the Ice Sand Ocean domain technique relentlessly chasing him, Firestone Master eventually tried to force the enemy back. After parrying Anying Master's attack, Firestone Master countered with a heavy strike to knock his enemy backward. Unfortunately, it still wasn't enough to buy him the time he needed to actually escape. He cursed his rotten luck for having to deal with an absolute psycho from the first era. Left with zero options, Firestone Master was forced to do exactly what he had just mocked someone else for, frantically sending out an SOS through the virtual universe network. His only hope of surviving was to at least get backup from the Chaos City Lord or Lord Pengong to handle this opponent's overwhelming power. However, getting that kind of rescue setup seemed highly unlikely. While the Chaos City Lord did receive Firestone Master's distress signal, he sadly couldn't get there fast enough because his current location was just too far away. Meanwhile, Pengong Master couldn't help either. He was deep inside the inner region of the Tilted Peak realm, currently fighting to survive in a danger zone, and couldn't head back on short notice. The only glimmer of hope was Yu-Ho Master, who happened to be the closest Universe Master to Firestone's position. But given his own power level, he wasn't totally confident he'd be much help against a Divine Eye race opponent. Still, he decided he was going to try his best to assist anyway. It wasn't just Yu-Ho Master who was nearby. Coincidentally, Luofeng wasn't too far from Firestone Master either. When they received the distress signal, Babata instantly started complaining. After all, she pointed out, the guy crying for help was the exact same person who was just lecturing and insulting Luofeng earlier. And now, without an ounce of shame, he was panicking over running into an enemy. Despite receiving cynical treatment and condescending remarks from Firestone Master earlier, Luofeng refused to let his personal ego ruin the human alliance's solidarity. For the sake of saving a comrade, he immediately aborted his exploration in the shallow area, dashed out of the water domain, and executed a rapid-fire string of high-frequency teleportations at top speed to head straight for the battle's coordinates. The moment Yu-Ho Master arrived at the scene, he encountered the spatial lockdown and tried to unleash a slash to cut through the enemy's domain technique. A tiny gap visibly opened up, but it quickly snapped right back shut. Out of nowhere, Luofeng popped up from behind him and, without a second thought, charged straight in, breaking into the enemy's domain. Yu-Ho Master tried to stop Luofeng, thinking it was practically a suicide mission, since there was a high chance Luofeng wouldn't be able to save Firestone Master either. Cutting back to Firestone, who was currently being hunted down by Unyong Master. Since he couldn't shake off his pursuer, Firestone Master was forced into close-quarters combat to stall time until backup arrived. During the brawl, even though Firestone Master initially got the upper hand by landing a heavy punch, when he moved in for a second strike, Unyong Master effortlessly reflected the damage using his ultimate technique, sealing the sky, instantly sending Firestone Master flying away. As his opponent was launched backward, Unyong Master dashed forward at lightning speed to close the gap and unleashed a vicious combo of direct hits, eventually slamming his Ice Sand Ocean staff right into Firestone Master's gut. Seeing that he could no longer handle his opponent's power, Firestone decided to retreat, trying to break out of the crushing pressure of the Ice Sand Ocean domain that was bogging down his movements. Unfortunately, that was no walk in the park. The domain relentlessly chased him down, forcing Firestone Master to slash at it with his sword. But even that was tough, and to make matters worse, Unyong Master repeated the exact same attack pattern from before, a devastating heavy strike followed by an explosive flurry of blows. This enemy was so incredibly skilled that when Firestone Master thrust his sword toward Unyong Master, a sudden spatial distortion occurred, almost as if they had swapped spots, causing Unyong Master to suddenly appear right behind Firestone Master. In the heat of the clash, Firestone Master managed to land a solid blow, but Unyong Master quickly regenerated and kicked Firestone Master, sending him flying once again. Using the momentum of being thrown back, Firestone Master took the opportunity to try and escape. However, it wasn't that simple, as Unyong Master rapidly unleashed his domain technique, hitting even harder than before. Completely powerless against the pressure of the enemy's domain, Firestone Master ultimately had to go with his only remaining option, striking back with his own fire domain technique. Out of nowhere, though, Unyong Master was already above him, dropping a massive attack that slammed Firestone Master all the way down to the ocean floor. Thanks to that brutal combo, Firestone Master's divine body was drained in the blink of an eye, plummeting to a mere 20% and putting him on the absolute verge of death in a matter of seconds. Struggling to get back up while heavily wounded, Firestone Master simply gave up, feeling it was completely useless for Yu-Ho or Luofeng to even show up, resigning himself to dying right then and there. Throwing in the towel, Firestone Master stopped resisting, and his body began turning to ice. In the end, he just accepted his fate. But right at that critical make-or-break moment, an explosion of golden energy packing serious time and space domain power burst onto the scene, along with the Golden Country, which was perfectly fused with the fire domain power from the Flame Sand Cup. This explosive energy combo, backed by the profound understanding of the miniature universe technique, triggered a massive wave of golden fire that instantly smashed into, suppressed, and totally dismantled the enemy's Ice Sand Ocean domination. Firestone Master's body, which was previously icing over, began to thaw out thanks to the power of Luofeng's domain. Firestone Master took advantage of the shift in momentum to scramble and escape. Not willing to just let him run off, Unyong immediately gave chase from behind. While in hot pursuit, Unyong spotted several fireballs woven between strands of golden light flying in from a distance. He was absolutely certain that these fireballs were formed from Master Yuanao's Flame Sand Cup, and Unyong Master easily guessed that its previous owner had kicked the bucket. Beside that, there was also this wild golden light domain that was literally manipulating space-time. And young Master grew extremely curious. Who exactly was this guy crashing the party right in the middle of his hunt? Running into Luofeng on the way out, Firestone Master expressed his gratitude, greeting Luofeng with a silent, appreciative nod. Ultimately, Firestone Master successfully made his getaway, while Luofeng stayed behind, chilling and waiting for the guy who almost killed Firestone. Moments later, a young Master arrived. He wondered who in the world was this human standing in front of him. It was his very first time seeing him. Luofeng just casually smirked and said, "Now you've seen exactly who I am, haven't you?" However, right after that brief intro, Luofeng instantly vanished from sight. Feeling his pride take a massive hit, a totally pissed off Yong swore he'd never forget the black-haired, silver-winged human who had just disappeared right from under his nose. Then what happened next? Alright, thanks for watching until the very end. And don't forget to keep supporting this channel by leaving a comment, dropping a like, and subscribe if you haven't already. Okay, bye.
你们速速前往该水域。
居然有这么多层，
在这里面，
这钻物感觉很危险。
很可能是一件至强至宝。
但
我的命就是